Hey guys, Zach here. So today we're going to be comparing two batteries that have recently generated a significant amount of hype in the industry, each for their own unique reasons. We have the Tesla Powerwall 3 going up against the PointGuard Home battery system. The Powerwall 3 is a battery that we've talked about a bunch here on the channel already, and the PointGuard battery is an option that I've gotten a lot of questions about. So I figured let's go ahead and see how they stack up against each other side by side, and yes, we will talk about pricing because what good is a comparison video if we don't discuss that? And for those new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoy content like this on solar, batteries, and everything like that, subscribe for more. I really appreciate it. Section 1, specs and details. So let's nerd out about all of the important specs and details that regularly get discussed about any home battery system. What you will find is that these two batteries share a lot in common when it comes down to these metrics. Starting with capacity range, which is the single metric where these two batteries can vary the most. And for both of these options, the true capacity ceiling is several multiples of the range that you see here on the screen. The capacity range that we'll be discussing today is for one powered unit, which is what most homes would require. So with Tesla, you can always start with their standard Powerwall 3 with the power components like the inverter, but you also have the option of the DC expansion packs, which offer additional storage capacity at a slightly better cost point. For the Powerwall 3, storage capacity is 13.5 kilowatt hours for each unit across the board for both their standard batteries and their expansion packs. For one single Powerwall 3, you can pair up to 3 expansion packs, totaling 4 packs at 13.5 kilowatt hours each, giving us 54 kilowatt hours in total capacity per set. You could certainly go above these stated capacity ranges with adding up to 4 total Powerwalls paired with 12 expansion packs. It's pretty customizable based on both your power and your capacity needs, and they do scale within their 13.5 kilowatt hour increments. Tesla's Powerwall 3 is super compact and can be stacked like a deck of cards or mounted side by side. With PointGuard, they do take capacity customization to a whole nother level. PointGuard operates with a stackable modular battery that has one power controller at the top of the stack, which is their inverter system. As far as their capacity range, we have a starting point of 5.38 kilowatt hours all the way up to a maxed out 37.62 kilowatt hours. They give you two different battery options for their stack, 5.38 or 8.06 kilowatt hours, so you can mix and match accordingly with up to 5 total batteries stacked on top of each other. This gives you a total of 19 different combinations, so there's plenty of choices. After capacity, there's going to be a lot of common ground between these two batteries. Both options offer a continuous output over 11 kilowatts, which sits at the top of the industry at this metric. PointGuard is at 11.4 kilowatts and Tesla is at 11.5 kilowatts. What this represents is the continuous load that your battery can output, and the key word here is continuous. Both options have much larger startup capabilities, which is measured here in LRA or locked rotor amps. LRA is a very common metric that can be found on the label on your AC unit. At 185 and 190 LRA respectively for these two batteries, that is enough horsepower to start up a 5-ton unit in most cases. When it comes to power output, with just one battery, both of these options are going to be enough to offer whole home backup for the majority of single family homes. For battery chemistry, PointGuard and Tesla did opt for lithium iron phosphate or LFP. This chemistry has become an industry preference due to it being much safer and more durable over the long haul when it comes to day-to-day cycling. Now, as far as warranty, both options feature a 10-year warranty with a 70% retention at the end of year 10. It's unclear if PointGuard includes any labor warranty with this and for how long, but Tesla does include a labor warranty for the full 10 years as well, which is a nice perk to have. Now, both the Powerwall 3 and PointGuard's battery system do have a hybrid inverter integrated into the battery, with hybrid meaning it's a central inverter that serves as both the solar inverter and the battery inverter. Yes, it's a string inverter, but they both have solar MPPTs or maximum power point trackers that help optimize overall system performance. And for most roofs that have pretty good solar access and limited shading, you really don't need the performance gain of a microinverter or an optimizer system. You can get away with some really big systems on both inverters as well. Tesla allows up to 20 kilowatts DC on one Powerwall 3, and PointGuard allows up to 22.8 kilowatts DC on a single battery. If you do need a system beyond these sizes, then you just add another powered unit for either option. And remember, solar panels generate DC power, batteries store DC power, but our utility grid and our houses operate off AC power. So they all speak different languages, which is why we need an inverter system to help translate. The integrated hybrid inverter makes these both natively DC coupled systems. The advantages of a DC coupled system is they are generally more efficient because they have less power conversions when compared to an AC coupled system. The batteries are being directly charged with DC power from the solar panels, so no inversion is needed. And with each power conversion or inversion, the system will experience some losses. So the short version of all of this is the less power conversions, the better. Now, for those of you who may be looking at this battery as an addition to your existing solar install or solar inverter, both PointGuard and Tesla can also be AC coupled. AC coupling is generally preferred on a retrofit installation because it can pair with any existing inverter system, and in most cases, it's pretty plug and play. So maybe you have Enphase or SolarEdge or some other inverter manufacturer, and you just want to add a battery, both of these options will work for you. Basically, when it comes to AC or DC coupling, having a battery system that can do both gives consumers and installers a lot of flexibility depending on the situation. Now that we've laid out some of these specs and details, I'm sure we see there's a lot of similarities, so let's see where these batteries excel and dive into each system's key features that we need to spotlight. And if you're enjoying this video so far, go ahead and help me out by hitting that like button. I know it's annoying, but it really does help the channel grow. Section 2, key features. Starting with Tesla's Powerwall 3, to sum this product up in one word, that word would be simple. The primary goal of Powerwall 3 was to make things easier for the installer, which then also makes it easier and more cost-effective for the consumer. The physical product is simple with its all-in-one enclosure for both the battery system and the inverter. So rather than needing to buy a battery and a separate inverter system, it's all built into one assembly. They're able to pack a lot of power and capacity in a really small footprint, with each unit just taking 2 feet in horizontal wall space, and those expansion packs can stack behind each powered unit to further increase that kilowatt-hour capacity. When it comes to installation, the Powerwall 3 has 2 different methods of installation based on the home, standard and easy. The first method is that standard installation process with a Tesla gateway. For Tesla, their gateway is the brain of the system that will act as the transfer switch in the event of a grid outage. Using a gateway is the traditional way to install a Tesla battery system, and it can be used for both whole home backup and partial home backup. With their new Gateway 3, they have further simplified things by reducing components and the cost, all allowing for a more economical installation for the homeowner. The second and easier method of installation is with their backup switch, and this has become a true game changer from Tesla. The backup switch would replace the Gateway 3 and now act as the transfer switch. It's essentially a collar that goes between the meter and the meter socket at your home. However, the backup switch can only be used for whole home backup installations. And with the Powerwall 3 having such a huge output, most homes only need one battery for whole home backup, so there's a much larger pool of people who can take advantage of this than with the previous Powerwall 2 and Powerwall Plus. The primary advantage of the backup switch is it eliminates the need for your solar installer to relocate your backed up loads in a new sub panel, so they can use everything in your existing main panel as is. This helps increase the project's simplicity and further reduces costs due to the savings in time and material. It also cuts down on that system footprint even more, since we are removing 2 more boxes from the installation, the gateway and the critical loads panel. Unfortunately, the backup switch is not approved by every utility, but if you are in a utility that has approved it, this can help save you thousands on your installation costs. Here in Arizona, all 3 of our major utilities are backup switch approved, so we really have enjoyed the benefits of this technology firsthand. Our battery attachment rate on solar projects has gone through the roof because of these available benefits. Tesla even simplified battery expansion. Beyond the installation of traditional Powerwall units, we have that option of adding those DC expansion packs to your Powerwall 3 system. Historically, with all battery manufacturers, the only way to increase your system capacity is by installing more batteries, which usually contained unnecessary power components. Manufacturers like both Tesla and PointGuard are making this easier for everyone involved. For Tesla specifically, the expansion packs are just Powerwall 3s, but without these power components. This allows homeowners to increase their kilowatt hour capacity at a more affordable rate. It also allows the installers to increase the storage more easily. So whether you want to add more capacity down the road or from day one, it makes that entire journey more approachable. The last key feature I will point out is Tesla's installer network. Tesla doesn't only sell their Powerwalls direct as an installer, but they also have over 1,000 certified installers who can get this product to homeowners as well. This is a big barrier to entry for consumers because these aren't DIY systems. You need a professional installer to purchase the battery. And you can have the best product in the world, but without the right distribution channels and installer networks, it isn't going to be accessible for homeowners to purchase. And right now, that's a huge advantage to Tesla and a current limitation of PointGuards. Anyway, like we mentioned, the theme with Tesla is simplicity, and that can come at the cost of some features which some consumers may really need. It just comes down to what you're looking for out of a home battery system. And I liken Tesla to Apple, where their product just works, and it works really well, especially when it's in their ecosystem, which we will talk about more in the next section. Now, transitioning to PointGuard, if I were to sum them up in one word, that word would be customization. PointGuard's battery solution is pretty compact, just like Tesla, taking up just at 2.5 feet of horizontal wall space, so it's a little bit wider provider than Tesla, but rather it being an all-in-one enclosure that we saw with the Powerwall. They operate in a vertical stack of up to 5 individual battery modules that essentially work like building blocks. And this modularity certainly has its advantages when it comes to flexibility. For each battery stack, you can have up to 5 individual batteries plus the controller at top with either 5 or 8 kilowatt hours of energy capacity per module. So if you're trying to target a very specific total kilowatt hour capacity, this becomes much easier than Tesla since the Powerwall only offers capacity options within those 13.5 kilowatt hour increments. Another perk of this stack design is it allows for a more manageable installation in some cases, as well as easy expansion down the road. Additionally, if one of the individual battery modules fail, your installer can just easily swap that one out for a replacement. Another key advantage of the PointGuard system is within their load hub. This is the equivalent of the backup switch or the gateway from the Powerwall systems, and their load hub acts as both a transfer switch, but unlike Tesla, it can also act as an intelligent sub-panel, basically like a mini span panel. Within the load hub, there are 5 double pole breaker slots for loads that you can control in the app directly. The advantage here is you can shed loads during a grid outage to help prolong your system's energy capacity. You'd want to use these breaker slots for things like your AC unit, dryer, oven, EV charger, or really any appliance you may not want to prioritize when the grid goes down. There is also an additional 6 breaker slot within this load hub dedicated for generator input. So for those of you that want to be able to recharge your battery system with a generator in the event of an extended grid outage where your solar alone really isn't cutting it, the generator can then step in and top off your batteries. Currently, a downside of the Powerwall 3 is it cannot be directly charged from a generator system, and I know that is a feature that some of you out there really need. But for PointGuard, beyond the load hub and the battery system, they also have the technology to integrate bidirectional V2X charging. V2X just means vehicle to everything, which includes both vehicle to home, V2H, and vehicle to grid, V2G. So it can export vehicle energy to either sell back to the grid, just like a home battery system, or to help back up your home as a secondary battery capacity. Full disclaimer, bidirectional charging is very much in its early stages. Your home energy system is just one of the limitations when it comes to this. You also need a vehicle capable of bidirectional charging, and you need a utility that approves of it. So the future of everything when it comes to this just isn't crystal clear. For PointGuard, this feature is projected to roll out in early 2025, but I'm not sure what immediate benefit will exist. I will say if bidirectional charging is of interest for you, an advantage here for PointGuard is that they will likely be neutral to all auto manufacturers that have this feature available, whereas Tesla may only allow their PowerShare bidirectional charging to be used with Tesla vehicles. This is just speculation, of course, but it's all things to consider. All in all, PointGuard is going to offer a lot more hardware customization than Tesla, which I think can be unnecessary to some and advantageous to others. If you do need any assistance reviewing options for solar and battery systems, or you just want a second opinion to see if either of these batteries are a good fit for you, go ahead and book a free discovery call with me. You can find it linked at the top of the description below. Section 3, software and ecosystems. Let's talk about software and the overall ecosystem for both of these platforms. To me, solar and battery systems have become so dependent on the software being able to deliver a great customer experience when it comes to showing the system data and managing the battery behavior. Starting with PointGuard now, I really wish PointGuard would offer a demo version of their app like many inverter and battery manufacturers do offer. This way you can at least test how the product works and feels on the software side. PointGuard's app may be better than advertised and I'm downplaying it, or it could look really nice on paper but comes up short during real world use. I truthfully don't know since I haven't tested it, so you can take what I say here with a grain of salt. But to be fair to them, I'm going to assume everything works exactly as they say. Their app is available on both iOS and Android, but here's what's cool is they also have a web app for those of you who like to monitor your system on your desktop or laptop. PointGuard has the all-in-one system, including their battery, EV chargers, generator input, smart breakers, and all of this integrates in their software. And within their software, you can expect all the standard features that allow you to manage your battery behavior, see your real-time power flow, and view the system's past energy metrics and savings. It appears to have very similar visuals that many of you may be familiar with on the Tesla app. As far as system management, they advertise that their integrated AI will help with overall performance, whether it be take advantage of the time of use plans, maximize grid independence, or whatever it might be. This AI also acts as a chat feature that can provide support and work like an assistant if you're trying to adjust a setting or find some information on your system. AI is definitely a buzzword nowadays when it comes to software, so I'm really not quite sure how special this really is. One big perk on the diagnostic side of things with PointGuard is you can monitor each individual component and battery module's real-time health. In addition to that, you can do a full system wellness check to make sure everything is normal. Now, these are things that you can access with Tesla, but it's not as easily accessible as it is with PointGuard and other manufacturers that openly offer these more granular details. PointGuard definitely seems to behave more like Android's operating system with more customization, more details, and everything like that. And like I said, with Tesla, it definitely has that Apple feel. And similar to Apple, their software and their overall ecosystem is what I find to be their biggest advantage. Tesla isn't just a battery manufacturer, but as you all know, they're a giant in the electric vehicle space. Why I feel like this matters is because they're constantly pushing software updates, system improvements, and adding more features to their ecosystem since all of their products are so software based. And I can say as a Tesla vehicle owner and a Powerwall owner, everything just works really well from the software side of things. Every time you get a new update, your overall experience continues to get better and better. For example, since owning my Powerwall system, I've seen new system features released, visual upgrades, and actual hardware performance upgrades. But what I wish their software had was more customization that can be found in a third-party app like Netzero. And honestly, what Tesla should do is just buy out Netzero and integrate those automations into their native app. It's important to note this too. Tesla software is app-based, so you can't use it on a web browser from a computer or a laptop. Netzero, however, does offer their monitoring software on your phone, tablet, or web browser for you computer users. So if that's a must for you, definitely check Netzero out. I did a full walkthrough of this software, and you can find that video linked in the description below. Regardless, within the Tesla app, you have all of the expected system reporting and battery controls, including time-based rate control to maximize that utility rate plan. Two benefits of Tesla's ecosystem that I'm really bullish on in the future are bidirectional charging and virtual power plants. Just like we mentioned with PointGuard, Tesla's ecosystem does offer that vehicle-to-home or V2H bidirectional charging, which they call PowerShare. Currently, PowerShare only works with the Cybertruck, where the Cybertruck can act as additional backup capacity during a grid outage. But it does have some limitations, and this feature will not work with any other Tesla vehicles as of now, but I do fully expect that to change down the road, offering even more value to those of you who already own a Tesla vehicle. When it comes to virtual power plants, I really do think Tesla Electric and their VPP network is going to be a huge perk down the road. By participating in a VPP, utilities will pay you a premium per kilowatt hour for exporting energy to the grid during emergency high demand events. Both of these things are available to PointGuard and their technology as well, but Tesla already has the ecosystem, they have the network, the connections, and they have a head start with the groundwork laid. Section 4, cost expectations. Disclaimer, none of these numbers reflect one single installer's pricing. I base all of this information off of an average from my own personal market research and experience in the industry. There can always be more variables for your situation that could move this price up or down, but I think this is a reasonable expected cost range based on what I see. For a PointGuard system installation, we're going to go off of their 13.44 kilowatt hour stack to line it up with that Powerwall 3 capacity and make things more apples to apples. Now, this battery system would be one of their 5 kilowatt hour modules, one 8 kilowatt hour module, their system inverter, their load hub, and all included labor and material. The expected market cost for a system like this would range from $14,500 to $17,000 when paired with a new solar installation. This is on par to most battery manufacturers for a professional turnkey installation, but it can depend on your installer and how competitive your market is. For the Powerwall 3, there are two different price points to review. One is going to be assuming the system is installed with a Gateway 3, and one is going to be assuming the system is installed with the backup switch. Starting with the Gateway installation, your Powerwall 3 system has an expected cost range of $12,500 to $14,500 based on the current market. However, when you are able to have it installed with that backup switch, you will cut out some labor and material costs, reducing this expected market cost down to the $10,000 to $12,000 range. Both of these Powerwall 3 pricing numbers are also assuming it's paired with a new solar installation. For any of these batteries, if you're doing it as a retrofit installation to an existing solar system, you can expect all of these market prices to go up a little bit. Now, if you need more than 13.5 kilowatt hours of energy capacity in your battery system, how much will that cost? For both PointGuard and Tesla's expansion packs, you can expect to pay around $525 to $650 per kilowatt hour fully installed. All of these costs are before any federal or local incentives as well. Hopefully this gives you an idea, but if you do want to get your most accurate pricing, contact a local installer in your area, and they should should be able to get you some hard numbers. To many consumers, this may give Tesla a solid edge because cost is always an important consideration when it comes to a solar and battery installation, especially when we factor in that backup switch paired with the Powerwall 3. My final verdict: Tesla Powerwall 3 or PointGuard Home Battery. On paper, there is no doubt that this PointGuard system is extremely impressive. I like the features, the specs, and I think they'll have a strong place in the market as they grow. I love innovation in this industry and seeing these companies continue to push each other. PointGuard is new to the US market, however, their parent company, SIG Energy, is a well-established manufacturer outside of the US. But when it comes to any kind of technology, problems and growing pains can always come up. I wouldn't say this is a knock, but more of a hesitation I have as both a consumer and working in the industry. PointGuard appears to be in the process of getting their name out there, setting up the distribution channels and the installer network here in the US, but the data looks like they're still early in acquiring market share. So unfortunately, I have to be somewhat biased when it comes to my final decision. I have to lean towards what I've seen work in the real world until proven otherwise, and Tesla has a very well-established track record. As I mentioned, I have 2 Tesla Powerwalls at my house, and I've helped set up a lot of homeowners with the Tesla product. So I'm apprehensive recommending something at this large of a price tag that I haven't had my hands on personally, especially when it comes to that software that we discussed. Maybe you have different priorities as a consumer and the PointGuard system is a better fit for you when compared to the Powerwall 3. Like many things, it's not one size fits all, and it's great that we have different options to pick from. Now, YouTube thinks you will enjoy this video here on the screen, so go ahead and check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you got any value from this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.